Have you ever wondered how it is possible to buy fruits even well after they are in season? This is in part due to genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is the process of altering an organism's DNA to create some effect for either the organism's benefit or the humans in need of such changes. However, there is much moral ambiguity over the applications of genetic engineering. Many argue that genetic engineering, claiming it to be unnatural or dangerous to the ecosystem involved. However, if there were a governing body overseeing the use of genetic engineering to keep it in check, the issues would be moot. Genetic engineering would be beneficial in the use of plants and animals only under a strict governing body. Genetic engineering would benefit from using plants only under the strict governing body let's just talk about how genetic engineering comes to fruition with plants. So the genetic structure of the plant is altered to produce a desired effect, whether some kind of pesticide resistance or herbicide resistance or abundance. Just something in the plant's DNA is altered. Most of the time this is done with crops. And as our world population increases, so does the need for more food. And so the plants are being altered to make the foods more nutritional and more abundant. And the downside of this is genetic engineering on plants is often used to make them more resistant to pesticides or herbicides, so that they can use stronger pesticides to keep bugs away, so that their crop doesn't get infected. However, this can present an issue when you think about it from a consumer standpoint. If your crops are more pesticide resistant and you're getting a lot of stronger pesticides because of that, then what does that mean for the human that's consuming it? How much of that pesticide are we consuming? These dangerous chemicals can really hurt humans when it comes to these plants. Furthermore, genetic engineering is also used in animals, and the three biggest uses for genetic engineering in animals are to improve the quality of animal products, enhance animal growth and development, and develop disease resistance. Genetic engineering in animals can improve the quality of animal products. And when I say this, I mean animal products as in like food humans eat, like we eat them. And like plants, the traits can be altered using genetic engineering to make them more nutritional. For example, in 1997, the first genetically modified cow's DNA was altered to enrich the milk it produced. The milk was enriched with a human protein that was good for babies and the elderly, and this made it more balanced for people with more nutritional needs, like the babies and the elderly. And additionally, pigs have been genetic engineered to make their meat leaner and inherently more healthy for their consumers. Genetic engineering in animals has nutritional value to humans, but what does this do to the animal? The fat contents being reduced to make the meat leaner. Also, changes like that often have undesired effects, such as in animals when stuff like that is done. There was a group of mice who were genetic engineered, and an unknown alteration was made to where their insulin was elevated, and they ultimately died of kidney and liver failure. Secondly, as far as animals go, genetic engineering can increase growth and development. And the most common example of this is salmon have been genetically altered with a gene from another fish to make them grow faster, and they grow twice as fast and they take less feed, so they need to eat less and thus create less waste. Also, the reproduction systems of the animals can be altered to make it more, their reproduction systems can be altered to make them more like abundant, like they can reproduce more or in greater numbers. But this presents an environmental concern, because what if these animals got out? What if they got out and mixed with other animals in the wild, and then what would happen to the ecosystems if animals got out and now all of a sudden this species is more abundant, they reproduce faster and better, and what would that do to the overall ecosystem? And the last point in genetic engineering on animals is to develop disease resistance. And a lot of strides have been made with this to develop disease resistance, such as pigs. Up to like 5 genetic diseases have been built up resistance in pigs, and 3 in chickens. But the concern with this is, if you look at like staph infection, it's a bacterial infection. It's not that big of a deal. It usually goes away on its own. But then we have MRSA, which is a super staph infection. Because humans were so resistant to staph, it caused the need to make the bacteria has a variant that is stronger, more potent, because of how humans are resistant to the base variation. And so this is the worry with animals and disease resistance, is that going to cause more deadly disease that humans can end up getting later. In conclusion, genetic engineering has fantastic and wildly beneficial uses for the mass public, but under the wrong jurisdiction could have drastic consequences. The problem is that our current system does not offer enough security and oversight of how genetic engineering is used. This leads to drastically changing ecosystems and even humans becoming ill from effects of the process. The apparent solution, though arguably challenging, is to change the system, create a new singular body to govern the process and potential effects it could have. A system that would have the best interest of the public at heart. With proper oversight, genetic engineering could be crucial to solve the world's most complex problems.